Video games have to make money, that's a given, but sometimes it's just ridiculous. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, the 10 worst cash grab attempts by video games. Number 10, people were really excited when Dead Rising 4 happened. It was intended as sort of a return to form for the series, or at very least, I remember it being touted that way by Capcom at some point. And the game has multiple endings. But as with a lot of games with multiple endings, there's only one true ending, and they locked it inside DLC. The actual main game's ending was a cliffhanger, and the DLC is what happens after the cliffhanger. And if you beat the DLC, you get an ending that actually resolves all the plot threads and gives a satisfying conclusion to Frank's character arc, which you have to pay for DLC to beat the game for real in terms of narrative, which is absolutely just infuriating. And that's number 10. On to number 9, Destiny 2. Oh, I bet you're excited to hear that. So some of the high-level activities got restricted when a new expansion came out, and I'll explain how. There are a few missions and raids that required you to be at level 300 in vanilla Destiny. These were referred to as the prestige versions of some specific missions, and when the expansion came out, those level requirements raised to 330. Now, if you have vanilla Destiny, the level caps at 305. You can play the game with vanilla Destiny, but you can't play these missions because you can't get past 305. You have to get up to 330, which is part of the expansion. There are some that suggest this isn't a malicious move and it's just done carelessly, but I don't understand how you could possibly think that. Like I said in the intro, video games are a business, and video game companies have a responsibility to make as much money as they can for their shareholders, and that often conflicts with the quality of games. Because if you're going to make the most money you can, why not do things that make it impossible to play the game that people enjoy without spending more money? Yay, business! Number 8. NBA 2K18 uses a virtual currency model. Technically, you don't have to buy any virtual currency, but buying it gets it, well, much faster than playing the game. Playing the game gets you nearly no virtual currency. So if you want to do like minor things like changing your hair or appearance in some way, guess what? You basically have to do the free-to-play thing. And it even looks like a free-to-play game. If you look at the My Career purchase screen, it's just depressing. It looks like it came right off of a freemium game, except for you paid $60 for it up front. Number 7 is Deus Ex. Game divided, into various purchases. I mean, do I even need to talk about Mankind Divided? I know I do, but there's stuff like in-game currency purchases, which are, by the way, not great. There's a season pass. There's one-time use DLCs. There's tactical packs. There's chipset boosts. And all of this in a single-player game. A game that has a beginning, middle, and an end. A narrative, actual game progression that's heavily interrupted by these just arbitrary requirements for purchase. Number 6, it does get worse though. Do you remember Evolve? The asymmetric multiplayer game in which one player played as a monster and several others played as monster hunters? Well, they didn't handle that right at all, did they? It launched with $136 in paid DLC. In fact, we heard about the DLC before we saw footage of the game. And Evolve wasn't a bad idea. Other games have since done it better, but it wasn't bad at the core of its idea. But when they were selling new monsters for $15 and new hunters for $7.50, and people needed spreadsheets to understand the pre-order packages, and all of those new characters, whether they be hunters or monsters, provided some kind of advantage that you had to pay to get. And even if they didn't, there's still the whole status thing that they encourage people to have. Oh, you have the blankety blank, so you must really like the game then. You could spend $136 on a 4 versus 1 multiplayer game that, again, wasn't even a bad idea, but they believed that there was incentive to spend that kind of money on top of a $60 game. That's not even good DLC. That doesn't expand its characters. It's also locking advantages behind money, which, oh my god, Evolve was so bad. Maybe you can tell this is one of the things I'm most frustrated about in the gaming industry. This list. Number 5, hey, you like Mortal Kombat 10? It's actually a really great version of the game. But you want to know what's easier than learning the fatalities? Doing microtransactions to get the easy fatalities. In fact, you could buy 5 easy fatalities for 99 cents or a pack of 30 for 5 smackers. And you know what? My stance isn't even there shouldn't be easy fatalities, everybody should just learn how to play the game. It's what the hell? What could be interpreted as an accessibility feature for disabled gamers, you know, people who buy those big controllers because they have restricted movement. Yeah, they deserve to play games too, right? Well, only if it costs them more. I mean, that's just disgusting. I hate that. Number 4, Middle Earth. Shadow of War, which, oh my lord. Okay, so this got such a backlash, they eventually had to remove it. But there were 4 different kinds of loot chests in this game. There's different currencies, ones that you can pay for, and ultimately made most of the game's mechanics totally bypassable just by spending money. And not by spending small amounts of money, because remember, a lot of it actually depended on the loot chest system. Your orcs, your actual defenses, your army are essentially purchased randomly. Gambled. Number 3, and I'm a little more conflicted about this, but I think it's worth discussion, the idea of paid mods. On one hand, I think that it's good on account people should be able to make money off of the labor that they put into modding games, which is something that people want. But on the other hand, the way Bethesda did it in Fallout 4 and Skyrim essentially established a way that not only could they fleece consumers out of more money, but they determined what kinds of mods are worthwhile to pay for. What I mean is there's a rigorous approval process to get a mod into the Creation Club marketplace. But when asked, Bethesda said that this wasn't a paid mod situation either, which, sorry, you pay money for game mods. So, no, it's kind of asinine if they want to pretend that a marketplace for mods is not paid mods, but you know, whatever, who cares? More mod creators need to move to Patreon. That's just like, move to Patreon, mod creators. You deserve money, but you shouldn't have to go through this BS. Number 2, in Dead Space 3, you could buy better weapons through microtransactions. They claimed that it was impossible to just sort of bypass all of the, playing of the game. They also gave you quote-unquote scavenger bots so that you could get resources and currency. I mean, it's the Dead Space 3 one is one of the most depressing things, because Dead Space was seriously one of the best series possible. Like, the first is amazing, the second is almost as good as the first, and the third is like, wow, so there's never gonna be another one of these, it's so bad, right? And finally, number 1, Star Wars Battlefront 2. What do we even start with? Battlefront 2 is a joke. It is a meme how bad it is with microtransactions. They intentionally did a terrible job balancing the grind and the fun in the game to direct you to purchase loot boxes, which, by the way, loot boxes are gambling. Several countries have already recognized it, but, EA doesn't care. It's fine to have an age range of adults who should have the choice to participate in gambling if they want, and children who you're essentially hooking on gambling so that later in life when they have the choice to gamble, there's a lot of context that influences that choice. But that's neither here nor there. They gated off Darth Vader, unless you played the game for like 40 hours or spent an additional $20. Maybe. I mean, it's all loot box based, so it could be that you end up with more. And it sucks because I actually like the game a lot. Also, they did try to fix Battlefront, but the damage was kind of already done. It's hard for me to look at it without becoming angry though, and that's not exactly how games should work. Like, it was a game that was clearly made in a manner that would have been very good had they not interrupted it and been like, hey, we need to make more money in here. We can't just have them buy a product and then reap the profits from that. That's what they do in industries that are in good shape. But the gaming industry is making more money than ever before. How could they possibly be in bad shape? Well, they apparently can't just sell a product anymore. That's apparently just not possible. That doesn't sound like it's in great shape to me. Higher numbers doesn't mean better quality, does it? It means more people are participating. That's it. And you know what? I could go on and on about not just these 10 games, but tons of other games. This industry has gotten terrible with this stuff. What do you think? Leave a comment, let us know. If you like this video, please click like, and if you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at FalconTheHero. We'll see you next time, right here on gameranx.